Okay, everybody, welcome back. So we are going to talk about styling out your web page. So this is the example that I have. Okay, notice that I have a bunch of different colors here, and I have some space between my cards. Okay, so in order to get those things, I'm going to jump over to my CSS, and I'm just going to show you how I program this out. So I used a hashtag of main, right? And I want to go back to your HTML. Remember, everything inside, except for your navigation bar, everything on the main page, that is everything that is in this darker green color, that is in a div tag called main. So the way I did it was I went to, let me make sure, I went and I styled hashtag main. Now I gave a background color, I gave it display block, margin 0 auto, and text align center. That makes everything show up and be in the grid system the way that they should be. So add that to your hashtag main. Now, this right here is something you haven't seen, using a period. You use a period when you have a class. Now, if you go back to the HTML, you'll notice that there is a div class of card, okay? And what that means is an ID, I use an ID when I only have to use it one time. Okay, I use something called an ID if I'm only going to make one of those. So I only have one division that's called main, so I used ID. These cards are different though. I want to use a class of card over and over again. I have a bunch of these cards, so I'm going to give it a name that I can use repeatedly. Okay, and that is a name, that's when I use a class instead of an ID. So I have a bunch of cards here. Class equal card, class equal card, and what that's going to allow me to do is style them all the same at the very same time. And so if it's an ID, you use a hashtag. If it is a class, you use a period. So what I wanted was, let me show you what this looks like if I don't have this. They were too smushed together. Okay, so what I did instead, well, I wanted to give it some padding on the top so that the card had a little bit of space. So what I did was I did hashtag padding top here, and actually this should be up here too. So let me delete this right here. I wanted the cards not to be so close to each other. So let me show you what it looks like normally for you. So if I took that away, the cards were right next to each other, like there was no space there. So I don't even think I need to add padding. I think I made a mistake and was thinking that I wanted margin. So just add margin 30 to your class of card, and that's going to give that space, the margin top, you just add margin top. That's going to give the top of the cards 30 pixels of margin. So that's going to spread each other out. Okay, so again, use period card, and then you go margin top 30px. I'm going to take this a little bit out. Okay, and then the navigation bar I used in the HTML. Okay, let's look at the HTML. I had to, okay, I gave the HTML an ID of navbar top. That right there is going to allow you to go to your CSS and then style hashtag navbar top. I gave it a background color, and then I gave it a font color so that it looks like this. Okay, so you are going to add that into your CSS. So there's only 3 things you really have to add: some color to your background, the margin top for the cards, and then the navbar top. We can explore various ways of styling the cards themselves when you finish, but for right now, let's just focus on those 3 styling techniques. Okay.